Hello, this is Chillin' and Chatting with Coffee with Stephanie and my co-host Sudie Landry. Today's topic is going to be about depression and living with depression because I have really bad depression. And I just thought, and I know that a lot of people that I've been talking to, they suffer from one type or another of depression, and it really does impact your whole family. It's almost like being alcoholic or anything else. It don't just impact you, it impacts the people around you. So I thought we'd talk about that today. And when he puts it on the Chillin' Chatting page and on YouTube, if you want to send some messages or whatever you want to do on the Chillin' Chatting Facebook page about this subject or anything you want to talk about, you can put it on there. Okay.
Okay. As you can see, Stephanie and I, and you'll be able to hear different takes on it, but she's done research on all the topics that we will talk about, we have talked about, and what we're going to talk about. And today I'm glad that we are discussing depression, because I had no idea there was so many kinds of depression,
Right.
and so many things that bring it on. I personally have experienced it in my family through my own sisters and brothers,
Yes.
through my husband, his family. So let's talk a little bit about what kinds
Okay.
there are.
There's quite a few, but this is a few of them. One is called anxious distress, and it's usually unusual restlessness or worry about possible events or loss of control. That's pretty common, that one.
That probably is where
Yeah,
those
'cause
dreams come up.
People don't like to lose control. They want to be in control of things. So it really makes them real anxious. And sometimes when you get that anxious, you kind of lash out. And people think you're just being mean, but it's a mental state. Okay, the next one is mixed features, which is what I have a lot of. It's a simultaneous depression and mania, which includes elevated self-esteem, talking too much, and racing thoughts and ideas. I have some of that. The next one is melancholic features, severe depression with a profound lack of response to something that used to bring pleasure, associated with every morning awakening, worsened mood in the morning, significant changes in appetite, and feelings of guilt, agitation, or sluggishness. That's what I got the most of. And it really drives me crazy because in the morning times, if I have to go anywhere, it's like the doctor or anything, I get so anxious and so upset, and he thinks I'm just being mean. But for some reason in the morning, it's like I just want to be by myself, or with my dog, but no people around me. I just got to soak in that I got to get up and do something today. I really have to know ahead of time. If you spring something on me, it's not good.
Well, that kind of describes a lot of people who are not morning people.
Mm-hmm.
You hear people say, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
I am a morning person.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to go and go, and by 3 o'clock, man, that's my breakdown. I need to slow it down a little bit. And I didn't realize that people who could not get going and be happy about getting up and doing things could even be experiencing depression until I read this piece of paper.
Or that it's a mental issue.
Yeah.
Mental
Issue, yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
But most people just think that a person is lazy.
Yep.
That's the big thing people think. Oh, they're lazy. They can't want to get up and go to work. They don't want to get up. It's not that. It's the way the mind works. It's so hard to get up and do anything. You feel agitated and sluggishness, like you just want to lounge and be like a vegetable almost. And it's not that, because then when you're feeling better, you're like, what is wrong with me? I'm feeling good right now. I can do this, do that. My favorite time is at night, like around 9 to 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm good. That's when I would like to clean house. I used to do that all the time. I would clean my house at night while they were sleeping, and they would be clean for morning, so I didn't have to do nothing in the morning. And sometimes I would even cook my next day meal at night, because it's a lot cooler, and have it all done so the next day I wouldn't have to say, well, I was tired all day. I didn't want to do this and because I didn't like to get up and see a dirty house. So I always got it done at night.
So we can see that there are other people out there just like us. I'm a
Right.
morning person. It sounds like you're more of a afternoon, night
Which
person.
one of these depressions you think you can carry?
Actually, I didn't think I was depressed at all until I read all of these descriptions. And I would say when I'm worried about something, I can't sleep. Lord knows I eat. I'm not one of those people that lose weight when they're depressed
Me neither.
or something. I'm anxious in different things, especially if I'm worried and trying to work out something or anticipating ahead of schedule something that needs to be done. Like you, I am fine and healthy before it's the doctor's appointment. Bam, lo and behold, every time I'm going to get to the doctor, the blood pressure's going to be up, and something always triggers that, and it's got to be anxiety, I would think.
Yeah, that's
Trying
what
to
it
work
is.
too fast. Mm-hmm.
Anxious distress. That's what you
I
carry.
didn't even know. See? Even a happy person like me can get depressed. And I do.
Mama.
I'm picking. I do. I really do.
Yeah, but my mom was just like that. My mom
Yeah.
was a morning person too. She would get up, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, get all her housework done that she had to do that day, whatever got messed up that night. She had everything done. She had her food cooked before most people get up in the morning. She just loved it. I mean, she did everything, laundry, dusting, and then she would go take care of whatever business she had to take care of, go pay bills, go shop and whatever. Before 12 o'clock, my mama had everything done. And so she really hated the fact that I wasn't a morning person, because if we was to go somewhere together, I'd be, Ma, come on, girl, get up, let's go. And I said, oh, why we can't do this after? And she said, girl, by noon, I want to be finished with everything. Okay, Mama. If I wanted to go with her, I knew I better get up and get ready.
Well, now I feel kind of bad about some of the things that I thought was a pretty good mother, but I look back and I go, what's wrong with you? I can work circles around you. What's wrong with
My
y'all?
mama
Get up
said
out of that
that
bed.
too.
Let's do it. And now I'll go, I can still work circles around you. And so then, no, I can't, not anymore. But I didn't mean it to harm them. Otherwise,
Right.
I had no idea. If I was a morning person, that person had the right to be an afternoon person, you know?
Yeah. But my mom used to say too, she says, girl, I can work circles around you. She would tell it to all the young people. She said, y'all not like my day. She was always like that.
We had to. We had no choice. We had to do what we had to do. And that has a lot to do with it, too.
Yeah.
We didn't have time to be depressed. They
But
kept us busy.
Also, she liked to go to bed for 8 o'clock, So
Yeah, but-
she would get up so early, but she would go to bed so early. And see me, I can't. I'm a night person. I usually don't go to sleep till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. As you can hear my voice, because was too early for me to get up today. And
So, meanwhile, what's happened is by the time that mother's ready to go to bed in those days, she was tired,
so they put the children to
That's
bed
right.
early, like 7 o'clock.
That's
6,
right.
Because I used to hate that when I was little. They say, oh, you can watch 1 hour of television, then time for bed, but after supper you have to take your little bath and everything. So that's how she grew up as well. Now the next one is called atypical features. It's ability to be cheered by happy events, increased appetite, little need for sleep, sensitivity to rejection, and a heavy feeling in arms or legs.
While you're reading that, Stephanie, I'm thinking of one of my sisters. And I had her come stay with me for a while. And not only was she on medication, and we'll get into the other kinds of depression that comes along with that, she was exactly that. And I didn't realize that until I just read that paper. And I'm thinking, oh, I owe her an apology for sure. She
Yeah.
really couldn't help it. If you were sitting there face to face with her, she was a happy, happy, happy person that I remember her always growing up to be. But if you walked away from her, it's almost like she felt a rejection, and her lifestyle was different than mine, and she'd come to stay with me. And I found myself trying to figure her out, not realizing that she had a form of depression and mental issue
Yeah.
that I could not understand unless I'd done research. So go ahead.
Yeah, but just like that also goes to where my mom, I always felt like maybe she didn't understand me, she didn't care for me and stuff. because I didn't like to do stuff in the morning. And I felt if she loved me, she would want to wait till my feelings would get hurt. Because by the time I did get up sometimes, she was already gone. And she would leave a note because she knows if you don't leave a note or tell me you're leaving, I don't know what happens to me, but I go into this deep, deep fog. It's like they left me. They ain't told
Rejection,
me nothing.
yeah.
And it would just weigh heavy on me. So she would leave a note, but she says, I love you. Mama's got to go. I got to take care of some business before it gets hot, before the day gets up to going. And she said, see you when I get back. So.
Well, reality is nobody can be happy 24 hours.
Right.
Life is life. You're going to have your ups,
And if
you're
they
going to
say
have
they
your
are,
downs.
they lying.
They're lying. You know, you can say, I feel great, and deep down inside you don't, but you want people to, let's not talk about it.
No
Let's
matter how bad you feel, most people say, when they say,
I'm good,
how
I'm
you doing?
good.
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good. It's just.
And if you really look at it real good, you should say, I'm not. Really, I'm not, but I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. But the reason I said that, Stephanie, is that this particular sister had been through so much really horrible things in her life that as a sister to her, I really wondered if the background had even added to all of that.
Yeah,
And I do believe it does.
yeah. Okay, the next one is called psychotic features. Depression accompanied by delusions or hallucinations, which may involve themes of personal inadequacy or negative themes.
Okay, medication?
Yeah, you need medication with this one, definitely.
I mean, we're talking people who's got diagnosed really serious
Like,
issues that you and I can't help them with. They have to be under a physician's care, right?
that's why they say a lot of times when they go in schools and murder or do these crazy things, and they always come up, oh, they've been off their medication for a while. They quit taking their medication. So
Automatically.
please, people, I don't care how well you think you are, if you're on medication for this, please keep taking it.
And be monitored. Don't self-diagnose yourself and take,
Don't think you don't need it, because you do.
right.
And it's nothing to be ashamed about. You are a human being, and we have flaws in all areas from head to toe. So keep on taking your medicine. The next one is catatonia. This includes motor activity that involves either uncontrollable and purposeless movement or fixed and inflexible posture.
Okay, that means that you're on medication and
you don't have,
your nerves are sensitive. They may be twitching, may come along with a certain diagnosis.
and you're moving a lot. You're not a person that can sit
And that's
still.
a form of depression.
Yep. You cannot sit still.
Okay, yeah, I can relate to that. Some people I know,
Yeah.
they do that and they don't know they're
really,
doing that.
if I wouldn't have read that, I go back to thinking of all the times you'd be sitting in the hospital or at some event and you see people just, constantly, and you say, are they on drugs? What's going on? And then
Yep.
now I'm thinking maybe they should have been on drugs.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I do know some who are on prescribed medication, and they do have a habit of, in fact, a couple of people, scratching or, rubbing their arms and things
Yeah.
like that. But I also know firsthand medication will make you itch, some of it.
Yeah,
And
I itch
so
constantly.
you have
I just
to be
call
careful,
myself
yeah.
up,
You know.
especially if I.
But I'm still amazed that it's a form of depression.
Anything. I think most things that are flawed in your brain is a form of depression. It just means you're down, like your spirit and all is down.
That makes sense, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one is, forgive me, I'm trying to say these things, peripartum onset. This one usually occurs during pregnancy
Oh,
or in the weeks or months after delivery. Like, you know how they say postpartum?
I experienced watching that. It's true, people. I didn't believe that was the truth, but it happens.
They get
And
some,
help those people because they really are having that problem,
and it, yeah, and it really occurs to where they be so depressed when they don't want to take care of the baby.
Yes, that is.
And you think, oh, she's not a good mama. You don't realize that she's not herself.
This person didn't even remember saying a lot of stuff that she said in front of me and another person, her mother. And I mean, my heart just went out to her. She looked like a frightened, like they describe a deer in headlights. She was like, she'd say different things. I got my first-hand experience to the point of being afraid for her husband, and for her baby, because she truly was experiencing that. That's something real, and that's horrible. And if you have someone in your family that's had a baby, watch them, be there for them, because that is real. Not everybody gets it that severe, but it does happen. So be sure that you understand that they really do need your help.
Yes. I think a big thing to look for in this case of it is after they have a baby. You know how sometimes the mother or a sister or something comes over to help you with the baby, because after you have the baby for a few days, you're kind of tired and in pain and stuff, but you have to like stay long enough, at least a week or two, to where if you see that they're really not having a lot of action with their child, there's something going wrong there. Because just because you're there to help, you're not there to do everything with the baby.
There's a certain amount of bonding that needs to take place, and so you need to step back and be sure that mother has that opportunity to bond with her child.
But if you see that they're not bonding and they're not doing, you need to get them help so that they can have a good relationship with their baby, and that they both can be safe. Okay, and this last one they got here. Now, this is not all of the depressions. This is just what you pulled up. So, and this one is called seasonal pattern depression. It's related to changes in seasons and diminished exposure to sunlight.
Yep, I've had first-hand experience of that too. What about you, Stephanie? You know anybody that kind of changes, mood swings with depending on what the weather is like?
Well, I can actually tell you that in the winter, I feel so sad. I mean, everything is so depressing. I mean, all I do is dwell on all the bad things that's happened. And you would think Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, it's time to be happy and enjoying people. And not me. I'm just like down and depressed. The only real cheer I ever had was having my mama there. And now she's gone. But
okay, don't go to the next topic, because I'm going to ask them questions. Since you've been there, you've experienced this seasonal depression.
yes.
How do you handle it? What do? Do you try to do something else to keep from getting as bad as it could get?
Well, when my mom was alive, it was a lot easier to help myself. But now that she's passed, especially like the first 2 Christmases, I was still bad. I'm still bad in the wintertime, like I'm depressed and down.
Because that's when she passed away, during those holidays? Is it a date?
This ain't because she passed. I've just always been
Depressed
in the wintertime. Just feel sluggish and like I can't wait for spring. And when spring would come, I'd be overjoyed. And everyone would say, boss, you got your spring back in your step. It's just the way it was. And get to cleaning house, that you didn't do everything in the winter. And just everything changed. And then the flowers come out. I love color. I love to see everything. I love spring. Spring is my favorite season. Spring, spring, spring. Because I love all the flowers, all the animals coming out, what they've had babies and stuff. You know, it's just beautiful to me.
Life, everything's alive or coming alive.
Yeah.
New birth. Well, I'm going to back up a little bit on this depression part of the seasonal category that we're talking about. And I had family members, still have family members, that when it starts raining, they start complaining. Then when it rains so much and they can't go outside, they really get unhappy. And if it's rained for a whole week, each of us stay in a different room and try to avoid toeing on eggshells. But never could understand. And this particular seasonal seemed to run in the family. And I talked to a sister-in-law that had experienced that, and she couldn't explain why it happened to her. And then my husband, it took over with him. And unfortunately, my younger son seems to not like it either, but he'll get out there in the weather anyway and do something, where some people just kind of hibernate. They stay in and they're sitting there, they're watching television shows,
It's even worse if you don't have a job or you don't have little babies to take care of.
Right.
Because you have nothing that really makes you say, look, I can't lay in this bed all day, or I can't be like this all day, I got things to do. They'll do them. They might not be in the happiest mood, but they'll get up and do them. But those people who don't have children to take care of, they don't have a job to go to. It sets in real heavy.
That's a good point that you brought up. It's true, because I can relate to the older lady at the time, my mother-in-law, and I mean, she was used to, you know, cooking and cleaning and
Right.
and all this, and then of course, my husband was used to going outside and walk around the yard and piddle paddle and cut grass or visit with the animals or whatever. So I can relate to if you keep
Yes.
busy, which seems to be what we all have to do no matter what depression we have. We have to find that happy place, like people say, find that happy place, and then
Yes.
try to focus on that when you're down.
Yeah, like this 90-something-year-old woman. She cuts her grass. She's out there cutting grass, pulling weeds. And I think my mom was talking to her, and they said, "Why you don't let your, your children or grandchildren, somebody come do all this?" She said, "No, I got to keep moving. Keep this heart." She looks forward to doing all that stuff. And she's something about when her husband had retired from working, he didn't really have much to do, and it took a toll on him to where he passed just out of boredom. He just
It's
didn't
sad.
have nothing that was keeping him going. So,
That's true. I truly believe that inactivity is bad because they encourage us as we get older, so it works being young, keep moving, exercise, or, go walk or do
I guess
something.
that's where the saying came from, idle hands are the devil.
I believe it. Idle hands
Yeah.
are the devil's workshop and get us
Yes.
all in trouble. I know when I don't have enough to read or networking to do, I'll try to focus in on a diagnosis of mine, and I don't want to do that because I will come down and start having flashbacks of the symptoms and all this, and
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. So I always try to find something to read, or, if I got to walk outside and come right back, because I'm not an outside person unless I'm fishing, crabbing, and all of that. But now I can't even do that because of the medication I'm on,
Oh.
because of the heart diagnosis I'm on. I can't go out in the heat. So I miss all of that. I used to go fishing, and I'd
Fish-
crab, and I'd take my kids. So now my outlet is to read, and I want to read something happy, or I
Yeah.
want to watch a happy movie. Anything in my dark time that'll make me happy.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
You just don't
It
seem
didn't
like
work
the type
like
of,
that, though.
you just don't seem like the type of person that could keep still.
Yeah.
I feel like you've probably most of your life was always doing something.
I had enough siblings, brothers and sisters to take care of. I guess that's what it was, too.
Yeah, and then your marriage and children and your jobs and stuff. Look like,
Well, that is one of the reasons I stay busy, even with the Acadiana Open Channel. I just like being busy. I like helping other people, and that's the reason that I do it, is because I cannot be idle. Don't get me wrong, I also have to use wisdom and back off a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but I enjoy everything I do.
yes,
It makes me happy.
right.
So I want to find things that make me happy. Sitting here with you on the show with you, making me happy,
Thank
to
You
be
make
able
me
to help
happy,
you,
too.
So,
You help me a lot.
so this is a
and
good example.
I'm happy to be around you as well.
Thank you.
But
With depression, you are always so happy. You look happy to me.
but I think it's a front, where people,
It is. We all put on fronts.
It's our. They say, "Oh, she's such a nice person." You still be nice and be grumpy.
You would be normal if you
So,
didn't be
but,
you, but there are ways to keep from getting depressed.
Yeah, I think you also like to do the ALC stuff because you meet people, different people. You get different views of things where you might have thought of something one way, and then
Yep.
when they explain it to you in their mind thought, then you say, "Oh," and it kind of changes you. So the next time you might run into somebody and have that conversation, you'll have different point of views and
That's right.
understanding it. And
It's all about meeting people, keeping busy, and making yourself deal with and get past any depression. And we all do get there. We just don't want to stay there.
And a real good thing about life is, doesn't matter how old you get, every day you can learn something. You never should ever think you've learned everything there is to learn.
Ooh, no.
I don't care how long you would live, you'll never learn everything. So, this is just a little bit,
Why don't you read the real definition of depression?
depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest, also called major depression. Major depressive disorder or clinical depression. It affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. It actually causes physical problems. You may have trouble doing normal day-to-day activities. Yes, I do. And depression may make you feel as if life isn't worth living. I do like that wants to come over me, but I'm a person that wants to live so bad that I will not let that take me over.
That's right. That's right.
Because every time I start to think like that, I say, no, God, I thank you for every day you give me. And more than just about a bout of the blues, depression isn't a weakness, nor is it something that you can simply snap out of, like my daddy thinks. My daddy don't believe in depression. He says it's all in your mind, you can snap out of it. No, Daddy, I can't. Depression may require long-term treatment, but don't get discouraged. Most people with depression feel better with medication, psychological counseling, or both. Other treatments also may help. Now, some symptoms, although depression may occur only one time during your life, usually people have multiple episodes of depression. During these episodes, symptoms occur most of the day, nearly every day, and may include feelings of sadness, emptiness and unhappiness, angry outbursts, irritability or frustration, even over small matters, loss of interest or pleasure in normal activities, such as sex, sleep disturbances, including insomnia or sleeping too much, tiredness and lack of energy, so that even small tasks take extra effort, of course. Changes in appetite, often reduced appetite and weight loss, but increased cravings for food and weight gain in some people, myself. Anxiety, agitation, or restlessness, for example, excessive worrying, pacing, hand-wringing, I do that, or an inability to sit still. It also slows your thinking, speaking, or body movements. Feelings of worthlessness or guilt, fixation on past failures, or blaming yourself for things that are not your responsibility. Trouble thinking, concentrating, making decisions, and remembering things. Right, that's me. Frequent thoughts of death, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, or suicide. Unexplained physical problems such as back pain, headaches. For some people, depression symptoms are so severe that it's obvious something isn't right. Other people feel generally miserable or unhappy without really knowing why. And that really touches on a lot of things.
What about children? Do you believe children could get depressed?
Of course. Anybody with a brain and feelings can get depressed.
Well, I literally have seen 2 young children get so worked up about what was bothering them that they almost looked like, from lack of words, like they were possessed by the devil, literally throwing and lashing about and screaming. But the scream was of anger, okay? And I was called in twice, and all I did was basically, I knew the person very well, so I would just, the whole time they were screaming, it was an anger inside of them. Only they knew what was wrong, and they were like, one was 8 years old, and one was maybe actually 3 years old, going on 4. And the point is that the mother couldn't figure out what was going on. It was someone that knew that I believed in the power of prayer. And so they asked me to come in. They said, you either come or we're going to have to call an ambulance. And so I made it over there, and all I did, I prayed before I went. So in my case, in this particular case, I have seen 2 children that were devastated about something that they couldn't tell their parents about, and what was bothering them, and they were related to me, so it was naturally my interest to go.
Sometimes they don't even know.
And they were so strong, and they were just screaming and screaming,
Yeah.
and I just said, look, whatever's bothering you, let it out. You can scream no matter what. I'm going to be here for you. No matter how long it takes, just scream and scream until you no longer want to scream and you're tired, and know that I'll love you no matter what.
Right.
I'll be here no matter what. And that first section, I could see family members watching, and all I did was just keep assuring her, whatever it is, it's not your fault.
Right.
Whatever you do, know that I love you, and I'll be here before and after and during. So you can just go ahead. I won't be here. I'm not leaving until you're okay. And that was about 2 hours worth. And afterwards, we found out it was a family that was separated, and she didn't understand, and no one wanted to talk about why her and Daddy were separated. And that was what she didn't understand. She eventually told me, and we're very close to this day.
But the
So you have to talk about what's bothering you too. So find someone.
yes, and if you do have a child experience,
Even a child can go into depression.
one of the great things to do is to grab them, no matter what they're thrashing and everything. You grab
Hold
them
'em.
and you hold them real, real tight,
That's right.
and you tell them, "I'm here. Feel what you gotta feel. I love you. No matter what,
That's
I'm not
right.
gonna leave you.
That's right.
I'm always gonna be here for you."
Safe, and it's okay.
Yes, they really. I've seen it work on a lot of them.
You know. But I brought that up because I could be walking somewhere and see a family, and out of the whole family, you can see which child is not happy. And it's not that they're trying to be bad; it's just a withdrawn. And I know if you got a family like I came from a family in a situation where some of us were afraid to say anything, and others would say what they had to say, and they got really punished severely.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a reason for not talking, or you know, different people respond to different ways. But anytime you see a child not smiling, just say a prayer for that child, because that child has a reason. I mean, he not just misbehaving. I mean, you can tell the difference when there's a child who has a problem. I had one come in my beauty shop many years ago. She was a neighbor, a little girl, and I saw what was going on with her in my heart when she would come in that her mother didn't even see. And her mother and I became good friends. And then I began to be able to share with her that I really felt like something was wrong, and I shared, and it was. And she did take her in, and to this day I meet that little girl that grew up, that has now 3 children of her own. And she told me a while back she was so glad I was her mommy's friend. Because at that time nobody, and I knew that for a fact, wanted to have anything to do with her. Because she had dark circles under her eyes, she was not a pretty little girl. But they judged her because she looked bad. It's because she couldn't sleep. She was so lack of sleep, and she wanted friends so bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for her, all the boys in the neighborhood, it was just boys. And she was a little girl trying to fit in. Well, that little girl grew up to be a fantastic mother. Thank God for that.
Yes.
She went through a lot of bad things that she later on shared, and there's a reason.
Yes.
It may not be some major like abuse, child abuse, molestation, but it can be something really,
Yeah.
a form of neglect that turns into bad depression,
Yes.
you know.
But
So it happens.
yes.
You know, it happens.
Yes. I was fixing to say something. And I forgot.
Well, it's a touchy topic, and sometimes
Yeah.
there's so much that we want to say that I have to stop
Yeah.
where I'm at because it does bring out emotions.
Right.
But I just thought it was important for people to know children will be depressed too, but really pay attention to anybody that's not themselves.
Right. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I really think I really would be happy when the day comes where we don't judge just people by your outer appearance,
Amen.
but love people for who they are inside. Because everybody looks at a person, they think they know who they are, but you don't. You don't know who that person is just by looking at them.
Nope.
You see a heavy person like myself. Some people say, "Oh, she does probably sit at home and eating fried chicken and cake and ice cream." And no, I barely eat. Honestly, Don's always saying, "You need to eat more." Because they tell me I'm supposed to eat 6 small things every day to keep my metabolism, and I don't. And they said my body thinks it's starving, so it's holding on to the fat. Anyway, so
Being a diagnosed diabetic, you're trying to go by those rules, but people who don't know you don't know you. That's what it comes down to.
especially morning time, I don't need to eat till like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's not good for me. But it's just the way I am. I just don't care about it.
Well, I love to eat.
Well, I have to eat so I can take that insulin.
I love to eat, but I learned too that I always thought when people say they're on medication and they gain weight because of medication, I'm thinking that's a bunch of bull when I was a size 8, size 10. But then as I got older and now in my 60s, no matter what, I don't even eat even half of what I used to eat, and I still gain weight. And so I didn't believe medication really did it, but guess what? Age and medication is true. It happens.
Yeah. They call that middle-age spread.
I definitely got the middle-age spread. That's what I got. Along with the fact that I do love to eat, and I do seem to eat at the wrong time. So some of what we are is not always like they'll say, you are what you eat. No. Because I know for a fact
That
someone
ain't
that
true.
hardly eats and they're a big person, and it's true. I eat a whole lot more than them, and I'm still,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand. I tell my
saw-
doctor to set their scales right because every one of them said the same thing. It's not right. Can't be.
I saw on Facebook that you had went and I don't know if someone treated you or something to a lunch at a new place.
That's the only reason I went. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was actually a wonderful place. Yes, they did. My sister came in town, and she is one that loves going to new places that just opening up. And so I posted that on Facebook because it's someone that had a business in Lafayette that opened up a new business, and I wanted to help promote that.
Right.
And so when I said I wanted to go eat, I had intention to go so that I could share it on Facebook. Then my sister just happened to plan to come, and she says, I want to go eat there. And we did. And I ate what I usually never eat. Real French fries and grease. And some fried shrimp. And some fried catfish. And some real coleslaw. It was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every bite.
I saw that.
But I cannot eat it.
All
It
the
doesn't
time.
love me. No, no.
Yeah. But
I
it's
paid for
sometimes
it
you
that
need-
night, but it was sure good going down. It was awesome. Awesome. Seriously, Cajun cooking. It was wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah. I saw
So you
where
saw that, huh?
Yes.
Put it out there on Facebook.
Yeah. And
It
I
was
saw where she
delicious.
thanked you and
Oh.
everything. I said, that's real nice. I said, must be good if Sudie says it's good.
I just absolutely, you saw what I put. My mother-in-law, the reason I'm saying this, Katie Anna, is that my mother-in-law passed away several years ago. And it was like sitting down at her table eating her food, and she was an awesome cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told her mother was even better than her. How, I do not know, but yes, and it was wonderful. It was good Cajun cooking.
Yeah. I saw
Awesome.
that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And it's something that if I would have it at my house, I could cook it for you, but I wouldn't eat it. Because, see, I don't eat it that often, but I enjoyed every bite. I appreciated the gift. It was a
Now you see, as far as like in my family, my father, when we had fried catfish, most of the time we had catfish also tenderloin, but in a red gravy with rice and our fried cash to
Yeah.
go with it. And he married a woman from Mississippi. Their fried food, everything fried,
Everything's
food fried.
Yeah.
If they're gonna have fried fish, they want fried hush puppies or fried okra, fried corn, all that to go with it.
So good.
It's so good, but
But you can't have
growing
that.
up Cajun
Yeah.
with my father, it was all, I love it. She does not care for red gravy or anything. I don't understand how you can eat spaghetti and meatballs, but you don't like nothing else with red gravy.
Right.
And see, me and my dad, we love red gravy and rice. It's so delicious. My dad even likes, get this, I don't know if it's his age or what it is, but he likes Spam cooked in red gravy.
No, I like Spam once in a while, but not red gravy. Not go that far.
That is a meal for him, honey. He
Hey,
loves his
maybe
Spam.
try it. Might be good. Might have to try that.
They slice it and they cut it in little cubes, and she makes the red gravy first, get it all seasoned and cooked down with onions and everything, and then drop that Spam, because it's pretty much cooked, and let it heat through. Put that over rice. My daddy thinks he's eating the king's meal.
Well, now that we brought the food up, okay, let's talk about that. When I really can't seem to keep myself busy, I find myself wanting to eat, taste anything going on, nothing tastes good, I'm getting miserable, I'm getting full, and I get depressed because I'm sick. I've done eating too much. That is a form of depression for me. Like my neighbors used to say, my close friend lived across the street, she could always tell when my husband wasn't home. Here comes the pizza guy. Man, he delivered pizza, so we knew when he was offshore. And so little meals is okay, but overeating is another way. And that seems to be the one that really got me. And I'd say, "Why are you eating? You're not hungry." And then I get upset because I knew I was going to pay for it later. So I'd go into a form of depression,
Because you,
trying to feed that whatever was bothering me, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't go away. Yeah.
but you want something good, and if it tastes good, you just want that good feeling because you're feeling so horrible. And you feel like, oh, that's why they call it comfort foods and stuff. But
Well, my daughter just told me that that nothing tastes good to me anymore since I've had this diagnosis, and it's true. Nothing tastes the same anymore. When you're on medication, yeah, it changes some people, and it did me. I realize everything tastes real salty to me, whether it's, and I don't do the extra salt thing. And it really has, and it's to the point I'll cook stuff and I'll give it to my daughter, it's too salty, but to them, they say
Yeah.
it's just right. But eating. Some people, what do you do when you're depressed? I guess when something's bothering me, I go into eating and eating and eating.
I like to eat lots of chocolate and whipped cream stuff, coconut.
Your depression has good taste. That sounds good. Serious topic, people, but it's true.
Yeah, and I love like cheese dips with nachos, stuff like that. That's what I like to eat when it always makes me feel good till I'm finished.
Then
But
after
that
you
little while
finish-
I'm eating it, it's like I'm feeling so. It's like a high up in your head and stuff. You're feeling so lethargic, It's just so good, but I do feel bad afterwards. And it's not so much that I've eaten a lot. It's just that
And it's something we don't do very often because we do have consequences
Yeah.
of doing that. I know I do.
yeah.
Blood pressure goes up and I'm in trouble.
Like if I spend a day eating things that I really shouldn't eat at all, and I'll say, the heck with it. All day today, I'm just going to eat everything that I want to eat. Then I know I got to go like 2 weeks or something before I can have any little cheat thing again.
Yeah.
And I'll be strict with myself for at least 2 weeks or so. So,
Something I want to back up to, I keep thinking about the word clinical.
right.
Major depression or clinical depression.
Yeah.
When you say clinical, I'm thinking medication that causes this depression. I'm thinking meds. Where major, I'm thinking, okay, it's serious, all right? So it's serious enough to be on medication, I guess. The reason I'm saying that it didn't make any sense is that people who really have trouble and cannot seem to control it or
Uh-huh.
have to be on meds, where some people can not get that far.
Right.
What would be something you could share with people other than take your medicine, be sure if you're on medicine?
Right.
But some people take advantage of that, and they take medicine for everything, and that's not helping either, do you think?
No, but I mean, some people also, not everybody who does bad things have depression, but they will like to blame it on the depression.
That's
If
it.
they get caught doing something wrong or whatever, I was just so depressed. Like this guy, he's the chief of the fire department, and they just kept finding all these little fires started at different places.
Okay.
And they couldn't figure out who was doing this. It was the fire chief himself. They caught him. And his explanation was having the children, he wasn't getting enough sleep, this things going on.
Excuses.
Yes,
yeah.
and he was under such heavy manic depression. And now he didn't get no much help for it, but once he got caught, he got fired. How come you're not so depressed no more?
Okay.
You're not starting fires. So if you was truly depressed and you was doing these fires, what are you doing now that you're not doing the fires? If you're truly depressed, So I don't know where he's directed his depression at. But it really was scary because he has all these little babies and stuff in the house. And of course his wife stood by him and said, he's been upset and depressed about this and that.
Let's talk about, you hit on a word, manic.
That's what I was looking for when I was looking up the different types of depressions. That's what I was really looking for, the manic depression. That's real deep.
Okay, some people, what does manic mean? Crazy?
Yeah.
It goes into a physical form. There's two, what was the other part of it? It's not on there, you didn't mention it. But are you manic, or are you more manic, or are you more just a verbal person, kind of like.
Yeah.
Manic will act out with physical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if a person is depressed, are they manic or are they the
Yeah,
other?
they also go like 0 to 60 and will grab a knife and just jick you with it. You might have said something or looked at them the wrong way. They're so quick on it. So you really have to watch people.
Well, I personally know someone that refuses. I know two people. One got on medication, one refuses to get on medication, and one said if she'd been on medication, she'd be married to the same husband this
Right.
day because she realizes that she did need the medical help. Then I know the other person that refused to say that they had a problem at all, and that it was just everybody else was crazy, and to this day they've lost everybody in their family. Nobody wants to have anything to do with them. So there's a difference between depressions. You're either a physical, depressed, or you are manic, mad in the head, and you are ready to. You get so mad you don't even realize how dangerous you can be.
Yeah.
That needs attention, and that needs to be
And something
looked
else I
at.
want to bring up. There are so many different medications. Now, just because your doctor puts you on one medication, you take it within 2 weeks. If you're not feeling any better, that means he's got to try something else. So don't think that medication can't help you. You have to find the right one for you.
And that's a good point, too. And if you're taken off of one medication, discard it, don't save it, don't share it,
Right,
because your medication could kill somebody else.
right,
Or put them on a high and get them to the hospital.
right.
And these days you do not want to be caught with any medication
But if
that
you
you're
feel
not
your medicine's
prescribed for.
not helping
You
you,
need to tell the
you
doctor.
need to tell your doctor and get something different. Because we
Sure.
all have different balances in our body.
I think he was saying you've got about 4 minutes left in the show, so if there's anything you want to recap or add on, or
I just want to say that don't be ashamed to take medicine for depression. There's nothing to be ashamed about. In fact, you should be proud that you want to take care of yourself. You care about yourself, your family, friends in the world. And it can, a lot of times, just help you have a happier, more fulfilled life if you really take care of that depression.
well, let's kind of revamp and tell them what some of our past shows have been about, and maybe with the next one, if you have an idea.
Well, the past shows were
You,
about
for example.
females being molested, growing up with the molestation stigma, boys being molested, thinking that all of them who are molested become gay or whatever. We had all this topic talking about. We talked about the diabetes, we talked about missing children. Those episodes did go out. I mean, the one episode that I really loved was about Jesus and the resurrection for Easter. But something messed up our recording of it, so it didn't get out. But it was a great show anyway. I'm glad I have a memory of it, but
It'll be done again, but
Yeah.
in a different way, maybe
Yeah.
later.
you can't do it twice the same. People say even with cooking, sometimes you can put the exact same ingredients, and it'll always be a little bit different. It'll still be good, but it's a little different. So, like I said, please don't be ashamed to take your medication or to go to a psychiatrist or whatever and get medication. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing shameful. We need to take care of ourselves, especially take care of your brain. Your brain controls everything else that you have. So, for a
So-
safer world and a happier world, please take your medication. I do, and I'm on 100 units of Zoloft every day.
Wow.
And that's a lot, because most people I know, they take 5, 10, 15.
You don't look drugged up. You look fine. Some people are
That's
so
how
drugged up.
That's how depressed I am.
Well, he
She
says-
said she can't go any higher. I see my doctor on the 22nd, and yeah, we got to talk about something different, because I need a little more. No, I'm not.
At least you're going to tell your doctor. That's right.
Yes, I am. I'm going to tell her, because she said if at this point, her boosting it up to 100, if it wasn't totally helping enough, that she would try to find something else, either go with it or to take over it. So, yeah, I have to talk to her about it, because I'm still so depressed.
Then you need to talk to her about it.
And you would think somebody taking 100 milligrams a day, it would help. But it's not that it doesn't help people. It's just that I am such a deep depression that I need something a little bit stronger for my,
Okay,
for
well,
my
thank God we
my
have
type of-
doctors that
yeah.
can give that. We want to remind you that Chillin' and Chattin' does have a Facebook page. So
Right.
if you have any questions, you can send
Any
your
topics
questions.
you want to talk about, you can put it on there, and then Sudi and I will discuss it and see if we can bring it to
Stephanie
you.
Washington is actually the producer of this show and the main host of the show. So therefore, if you have any questions, like she said, or ideas for topics you'd like for us to talk about, then be sure to check out Facebook and enter Chillin' and Chattin', and it'll bring the page up and shoot us
Yes.
some questions.
Yes, that would be nice. We do check on it.
And
You
on,
know.
and in the future, we'll be able to start telling you when it's airing. And so in
Yes.
closing out the show, what would you like to say? It's time to close it out.
Oh, thank you all for joining us as any other time. The time goes so fast when I'm sitting here with Sudi. It's like we just sat down 5 minutes ago.
And drinking coffee.
So, yeah, we have these beautiful cups. But thank you for joining us, and I hope you can join us again next month and try to catch it either on Cox or on YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube. And every show that we do, if you don't catch it on Cox, you can catch it on YouTube.
That's a good reminder. I forgot about that. Chilling
Okay.
and chatting on YouTube.
Yes. So thank y'all again, and come back and keep tuning into us. We always got something good to talk about. Thank y'all.